Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 50 of the Casual Weebs podcast. I do apologize. Not only are we a week late, but we're also a day late because listen, it's been really busy, like really, really busy, but we are back with one of the nastiest, one of the biggest episodes we have done. Not because it's episode 50, but because anime has been going absolutely ballistic right now. So for the past 2 weeks, Solo Leveling has crashed the servers. It has been nothing but incredible. If anything even comes close to solo leveling this year, it will be one of the greatest years in anime. Like, I went from last year kind of like, hey guys, I think solo leveling's a little overhyped, to being like, oh my god, this is the greatest scene that has ever dropped. It's gonna win anime of the year in 2025. It is absolutely phenomenal. We're gonna be talking about Blue Box. I mean, that is getting insane. Literally, are we getting close to the confession here? Did we have the confession this week and Taiki didn't hear it? Finally, we're getting some
Ooh.
dubs. You know, we have a bunch of athletes that are just trying their hardest to perform at the highest level, and they've all fallen short. But we're getting some promise here with Taiki bringing home quite the most insane dub, but also a little twist because Haru faced him and lost. So a lot to talk about there. And then the most controversial anime of this season, Sakamoto Days. It has been getting a ton of hate, and we are going to be diving into it and talking about it. Honestly, I say we start with Solo Leveling and Sakamoto Days and then go into Blue Box. So, which one do you start with, Sakamoto Days or Solo Leveling?
Let's get the solo leveling glaze going, baby.
So, first of all, last episode, we were in the dungeon where he was fighting, like, those. I forget what they're like called.
Like the high orcs.
Yeah, the high orcs, and we actually learned a lot about the system. We keep with each of these fights learning about kind of the game that he's in per se, because the guy talked about, first of all, one of the most badass fucking fights, absolutely incredible. And he did it in front of everybody. Everyone just sitting there kind of watching. I'm like, oh my god, like what is going on? Like, we didn't think we could all take these guys on, and here he is just soloing like it's nothing. Solo leveling kind of makes sense. Um, but the main dude that he was fight Jinwoo was fighting was like I this shouldn't be possible. He's like, when I spawned in, I was always told kill humans, consume the humans, devour the humans. He's like, I shouldn't be able to be defeated. It's impossible. Which kind of gave us like some lore, some clues to like, oh, like these guys are being created. It's not like they exist. It's not it's like two of these high orcs mated and then created this guy. He grew up and became strong and trained. Like he just existed one day. So in a way, they're all fake.
Which was like a huge lore bomb because like
Yeah.
everywhere they go, it's like, oh, you have like the ice elves, you have
Mm-hmm.
the high orcs, the stuff from season one
The
that they
bears.
fight. The bears, yeah, like I just assumed that they were all, races of the world or demons, whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, they're being made, which kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And they're being controlled too, because even the ice elf even tried to say something, but it was going to be giving away too much information to Jinwoo that he's not allowed to hear, and it glitched and then reset. So not only are they fake, but someone's kind of controlling them or putting like limiters on them. So I gotta assume that there's something out there controlling it all, and I guess it's going to be the god that Jinwoo either encountered to get his powers, or there's more at stake, there's more at play. But we got to get to Jinwoo's dad. Like, his dad needs to get on the scene and start giving us some lore about what's going on. Because he seems like he's the only one who has any inkling of an idea, and even then, he seems like there's a lot that he doesn't know.
And how long was he trapped in that dungeon? I keep forgetting,
Ten
but it was like,
years?
yeah, it was a really long period of time. So I
Yeah.
feel like, if anything, he has a lot of experience with what Jinwoo's going through. If it's the same type of thing.
Yeah, that would be insane because I mean his dad is beyond powerful. And again, we talked about it in a couple podcast episodes ago that like his dad apparently probably most likely did not have that level of power when he was lost in the dungeon because it would have been known.
Right.
Jinwoo would have known his dad was like an insanely powerful S rank. You know what I mean? Because he's not just an S rank. Like he wiped the floor with the one guy. So like he's got powers kind of above everybody, kind of like Jinwoo does. That's insane.
The last episode, we get that when he walks by the two guild leaders, or not even. He like puts his hands on his shoulder, and then he
Hmm.
he's like, "All right, I'm out of here." And
Yeah.
you could see like his eyes were yellow, and he was like, "That was way faster than last time." He's got more aura and strength, like
Hmm.
and he kind of goes into it a little bit, but it all kind of lines up with like the little tidbits that they're giving us each episode, like moving us forward with what the plot's slowly trying to tell us.
And like, I mean, Jinwoo's definitely getting stronger because he got Tusk. What an awesome name. I love his name in these guys. Like, it's just so cool. Tusk is now in his army, which is sick. Dude, that was like, I don't want to jump too far ahead. I kind of want to like, go in order, but that was so funny when he was talking to them. And he was kind of like, hey guys, I need you to like watch over my sister. And he's like, wait, where's the fourth guy? And they're like, up. And he's like, oh yeah, I sent that guy to fucking Valhalla.
Yeah.
He's still in the ceiling.
And like they were just like, oh yeah, he's dead. Like, oh yeah, forgot I killed your buddy.
He killed them all, but he couldn't bring that guy into his army. He couldn't like summon him or arisen him. You know what I mean? Because he's just stuck in the ceiling, like so far up. Dude, that
And
had
honestly,
died.
that was like a really cool. Like, I love the way Jinwoo fights because it like not only is he very like intellectual and his battle IQ is like super super high, and obviously it's because he's training and getting levels
Yeah.
and stuff. He's smarter and seeing a lot more than most of the other hunters. But in the beginning, the I don't know what you want to call him, like the leader of the High Orcs, who's now Tusk. He picks up the leader of that squad and just keeps throwing him up and down. Jinwoo's like, that was really badass, by the way. Great entry for Jinwoo too, but then he kind of does it to his guys too. He's like, yeah, two can play at this game.
Yeah, it's like I can do what you can do, but I can do it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that was so funny too. Like at the end of the fight, everyone's sitting there in like amazement and like, the guys come in like, hey, he's actually classified. You actually cannot talk to him. They said that to an S rank, by the way. You know what I mean? Like that's insane. That's aura right there. And Jim was like, "Oh, sorry guys, I guess I gotta go." I love how the blonde hair girl was like, "Yo, why do you have a pickaxe?" She's like, "Oh my god, wait, does he think I'm weird?" Like, dude,
Yeah, she's all self-conscious about the weapon.
she's just like, "Oh wait, yeah, I have a pickaxe. Wait, does he think I'm like awkward or like weird or something?" Like, bro, that was so goddamn funny. I love how even she was just sitting back like amazed, like, "Holy shit! Like, I don't think I can do this." Like, which honestly, they even went at the end of the episode, they went to that one guy, like the president, like the red hair guy, the ultimate weapon they call him, and out of the subordinates, like he's like, hey, like who do you think's stronger, me or Jinwoo? And a subordinate who you think would kind of be like, hey, this is my boss, I'm not gonna like, I'm not gonna go against them. I'm gonna say obviously him. He was even like, hey man, well let's just say this. Do you think you could have done what he did? Do you think you could have went into a high A ranked domain, which by the way, that wasn't even an S rank? And clear it on your own? And he's like, no, I don't think I do. I definitely think he's in a league above me. That was fucking insane. That was like one of those moments where it's just like, even the guy that's labeled the ultimate weapon can't even scratch Jinwoo. Like, he's that far above just right now. And like, he's gonna grow even more. Like, that's incredible. That's insane.
And it's really cool we're getting those, like, I mean, I feel like this is maybe a divisive term. It certainly is if you're on the forums, on the Reddits. But like the power scaling I think is important right now, and it's also like satisfying because it's like in the first season we really speculated about like where Jinwoo was. Is he B? Is he A? Is he C? Now we know like he has the S rank. He has the
Confirmed.
S rank
Yep.
confirmed, but he's way stronger than that because both Choi, the red hair dude, and the I don't know, call him Sideburns, the other orange-haired guy.
Yeah.
They both were like pretty intimidated by his magical power or just like his ability. They could sense that he had even grown from the last time that they had seen him.
Well, okay, the guy you're talking about, the sideburns, he did, and I think they're both scared because that really smart for that guy. Because I even wrote down that guy even said he's like he's growing. Like he didn't reawaken. Like reawakening's one thing where you're like you kind of snap, you're at this level and you stay at that level. Like these guys can't get better, but he is, and he's growing stronger and stronger. And the fact that he realized that is insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just shows you how sharp these guys are. They're not just like super good fighters or this or that. They're also like some of the most intelligent characters in the game. So that was kind of cool to get that, especially from the Sideburns guy. You know what I mean? Kind of saying like he's the first person to be like, oh, is he like actually increasing his strength rather than being reawakened at this level? I think he's the only one who's noticed that so far.
Yeah, and like, dude, it's like I don't know if they're gonna like turn against him because they're gonna be scared because like he is like stronger than them and he can get even like when is Jinwoo gonna get to a point where he becomes a threat? You know what I mean? Because you always have that where like, oh, the hero's great while there's a villain, but when there's no villain, well, I don't like that hero now. But who's gonna say that they're gonna turn on us? You know what I mean? And out of that fear, they turn on the hero.
I know he didn't sign with a guild, but did he explicitly say that he wants to like finish his stuff and kind of do his own thing before making that commitment?
Yeah.
I
He
can't
said
quite remember.
being with a guild would hold him down, and he has his own things that he needs to do before he goes back and signs with somebody. That's why he
So I
turned
feel
down the
like
construction kid.
yes, that's right. I feel like the guild leaders or members, like they'll try and curtail favor with him or work with him in hopes that he joins the guild.
Hmm.
But I still think they're going to that island. I don't know how much, like I read that they were like really speeding through some parts as far as like the manga goes, but
In the anime?
if we yeah, if we
Okay.
do end up getting to Jeju Island, like are they going to work together? You know what I mean? Are they going to include him in that? I can't imagine they're going to leave the
I think
MC
he's
out of
gonna
that.
run it. At this point, I think he's gonna run point because I think
So like
all the S ranked acknowledge that like he's stronger than them. You know what I mean?
yeah, so I'd imagine they like yeah, maybe even out of fear or intimidation, they're like, yeah, let's get on Jinwoo's good side and make sure he like works with us,
Well,
but
they have
not
egos, but
until he
it seems like
yeah,
they're
they do.
intelligent though, because like they even kind of said like they saw his aura and like, oh wow, like this guy's got something to him. He's got a lot of power, even more than us. The fact that like they've been at the top of the game for so long and are able to acknowledge that someone's stronger than them is huge. But then they also take note to, oh wow, he didn't awaken, he's growing. They see then his athletic ability where he's like where they're like with the cameras and he just like kind of like snaps away. When they're like, oh yeah, let's drive you home. He's like, nah, I got this. Puts the hoodie up and dips and like, whoa, he's got like physical prowess as well, not just summoning. Like they're really able to take note and like be realistic about it. So I think that they would just be like, hey, like dude, like you take lead. You know, we'll support you because we can't give you orders when you're that strong. You know what I mean?
And they didn't see his summoning ability yet. They felt it from outside the door like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's one thing to summon a dozen, you know, familiars or whatever, but this dude has a whole army. Like they could feel his his magical ability, but yeah, the athletic feats they're talking about was equally as impressive. They were like, "What the heck is this?" Real Black Air Force energy from Jinwoo there.
Well, the test givers they saw that. They're like, "Hey, we've heard reports. You holding out on us?" He's like, "All right, sorry." And then he summoned like a
Got
hundred,
me.
and then he summoned like 100 soldiers, and they're like, "What the fuck?" They're
Because
like, "Oh my
they
god."
did make mention that they're like even you know the best summoning style mages
Hmm.
can't even compete with that. The numbers are just you know disparaging.
I mean, dude, Jinwoo going to like buy weapons and stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like you can have it if you break the glass." He's like, "Oh, okay, sick. Let me just
He just
stretch here."
winds up.
And the guy's like, "Whoa, dude, it was a joke. It was a joke. That's my bad." And he's talking about like, "Hey, like you know, you're not gonna be able to crack it. Like even if you do, like security's gonna come in." And then he looks, and Jinwoo cracked it just by winding up. And he's like, "What the fuck?"
Crazy.
You know, like
What a flex.
he's like this guy was so like convinced that like nothing could even touch this glass, and Jin Woo literally cracked it without touching it. Like he's that strong. Like that's and you got to imagine he probably deals with like with the S ranks. The S ranks, some of the high A ranks are probably always in there
Very
buying
good
gear and
point.
shit. And like he can even see like, wow, this guy is a different beast.
You're exactly right because like I thought it was pretty funny. Like you know he's been balling in these dungeons. He's
Hmm.
been you know the greatest miner we've ever seen. Like he's been doing enough. You'd think you know he's got a sweet new Jeep. You're
Hmm.
like, all right, Jinwoo's got some money. You know his
Yeah.
bankroll's probably getting fat. As soon as they tell him the prices, he's like, ooh, maybe not. Can I get a discount? And they're like, yeah, no. So I thought that was really funny. Like the show's done a good job of kind of like keeping the humor despite like all the ramp up for the story and like
Hmm.
Jinwoo getting so much stronger. Like the the small bits of humor I think are perfect like that.
Yeah, it is. It is really good and like really funny, and I don't know. I feel like they're just doing an awesome job. Like Solo Leveling right now is just untouchable because it's just doing everything so right, in my opinion. It has just been absolutely insane, and I cannot wait to see what else is going to happen. We're really starting to get into it as well because he's back at the dungeon. Like it seems like now the focus is back onto getting his mom the cure. You know what I mean? He's back. I forget what that dungeon's called, but he's able to TP back to the 75th floor. That's really nice. He didn't have to grind 75 floors to get there. You know what I mean? He's able to just snap. He's there, and he's at the point where he's taking on more intelligent enemies, which I really like because it seems like all the ones he's faced already have been more about just pure strength. You know what I mean? And he even said that the not the high orc, the ice elf, that was one of the first things that he's faced that has been very intelligent. And he even said that he probably wouldn't have
Mhm.
been able to beat it on his own. You know what I mean? He really needed to use all of his resources to take it on. And when he killed it, he didn't have the levels in order to consume it. So now that we're getting back into, okay, not just fighting strength, but fighting intelligence, I feel like we're going to have some amazing fights come up, but we're also going to finish up that little arc of he's got to do what he's got to do before he can join everybody else, which is going to be really nice because when he joins everybody else, they're probably going to go to the island and it's just going to be absolutely insane.
he makes like a point, and this is just me kind of rambling. He makes a point that like it's going much slower now that he's at like the top levels of the dungeon.
Yeah.
And he runs into those three soldiers. I kind of forget, demon soldiers, he maybe calls them.
Yeah.
Obviously dummies them, and he's like, oh, do they feel fear? I guess I got my answer.
Yo, that was insane. Yeah.
Incredible way to cap a great episode. That was really cool, but it's like, hopefully they don't waste too much time, with like the climbing of the dungeon. Like, I'd like to see him get there in time to like have stuff left in the season before, like setting up for the island or setting up for that arc after this. It's the
Yeah.
Demon Castle, right?
I think it is a demon castle is what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, that dungeon.
I think we are gonna have time because I heard that at the end of this season we're getting into arguably the greatest season of solo leveling. I mean the greatest arc of solo leveling. So I'm
Let's
assuming this is
go.
now that's what I was told. This is what I'm kind of guessing is that yeah we're gonna get there. He's gonna fight the final boss. It's gonna be absolutely insane fight. It's gonna knock the servers out again. He's gonna get the cure. We're gonna have an interaction with his mom. Maybe his dad steps in. Maybe his dad. That's when his father comes home. And then I feel like the best arc in Solo Leveling would be the island arc. So that's what I'm just assuming from what we know now. So I'm assuming that we're going to have the start of that at the end of the season of maybe him talking with the other S ranks, getting acquainted with them, kind of figuring out what about this island is kind of like going on, especially because we have one of these magical beasts that has made its way to Japan. It's outside of the domain. They're now invading. And the only place that we know of these magical beasts on
True.
Earth, like actual on Earth and not in a domain, is on that island. So they're making their way off the island. So this is like a perfect segue of him finishing up his thing, coming back. All right, now we have to go deal with the island because now it's becoming a global thing. It's expanding past those borders.
You make a really good point because there's that very last scene where there's two just NPCs, I'll call them, side characters. Yeah. Sorry, guys, they might be strong, but like they're just on patrol or whatever, and then
Yeah,
they run to that like ant crab looking figure. It's kind of
yeah.
tough to tell what it is, but
It's like a
so
fly.
like, yeah, something like that. But they're here now and they're invading. So like,
Hmm.
I can't imagine we end the season without, like you said, getting some like S rank interaction, which I think would be really cool, especially for Jinwoo in that context, but also like to see where we're going moving forward.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think it's gonna be insane. I feel like it's gonna bring like kind of like a war arc because now you're gonna have people like scared more than ever. But just there's actual these magical beasts like in their home. You know what I mean? They're actually here, and I feel like they're
Right.
gonna. I feel like civilian lives are not gonna be attacked, and people are gonna die from that. So I feel like it's going to be like here's where we rally around. We get every strong person we possibly can and kind of go. And I wonder if Jinwoo's dad is going to be a part of that. But it's kind of ramping up. Where we got the introduction and we haven't seen shit from him since. Right? We're now working on getting his mom back to being healthy. His dad's still somewhere in the picture. His dad's strong as shit. And now we have this island that S ranks struggle with. Or S ranks they go there to die pretty much right there. They're not able to deal with that at all. So I feel like it's all coming full circle where we're getting the family reunion and then we're dealing with that arc. And that's just guessing from me. But if that is the case, holy shit, season 3 is going to be even more insane.
Incredible, dude. The hype is there, and I feel
Yeah.
like this has been one of the most fun, satisfying seasons of an anime we've seen in a while. And I know we like, we enjoy a lot of different stuff and we gas up different animes, but this has been truly like a 10 out of 10, tons of fun, really badass. I'm really excited to see where the season takes us, but also for like the setup because
Yeah.
I know there's like a lot of content in the manga, so I'm just hyped to see where it takes us because Jinwoo's been really badass right now, but I know there's a lot left for him to like achieve.
Yeah, to deal with. And that's the thing where it's not just it has all the hype, but it's delivering on all the hype and even exceeding it, which I think is just beyond insane. But you know what's not exceeding the hype or living up to the hype? Sakamoto Days. Listen, we gotta talk about it. All right, because here's the thing: I've been loving Sakamoto Days as an anime only. Not I'm actually not anymore. Yeah, I can't
Oh,
say it anymore.
yeah.
Dude,
Say it again,
it
baby.
was muscle memory, bro. It was muscle memory. I'm not. I have only watched the Sakamoto anime, but I am not an anime only watcher. That's insane. So as someone who's only watching the anime and has not read the manga, I am really enjoying it. I think it's great, but we've been seeing a lot of hate. I brought up that I saw a top five, and Sakamoto Days was rated number five, but it had like a nasty comment about how like it just wasn't good, and I was like, oh dude, it was talking about the first episode. I'm like, dude, it's the first episode. You know what I mean? Like, give it a break. I thought it was pretty solid, and then since then I've seen nothing but hate. So I'm like, you know what? The hate's got to be justified. Let me look into this. Let me actually see why people are upset, and I can see why. And it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, dude, I read manga now. Yeah, the manga's so much better. It's anybody with eyes can see. So I'm gonna put it up on the screen, but I'm gonna send it to you. Here is the difference between the anime and the manga. Yeah,
Ooh, ouch.
yeah, and that's not like, oh, I like manga, so I just think that the manga's clearly better. Like, no, anybody with eyes can see that that scene is so much better in the manga, like leagues above, and that the animation is just not there. I mean, like the anime, like not even the animation, but like the anime is just not there. Like, you completely did that scene dirty. You did it like apparently they did so many scenes dirty, like really really bad. And one thing I can kind of see is that like I haven't read the manga, so I don't know how it's paced or how it is. But they're saying that the amusement park arc was apparently a huge arc. Did not feel like it. I just thought it was a couple episodes at the amusement park. I didn't think anything of it really.
Ooh.
And if it's apparently that big of an arc, then yeah, the anime is letting it down drastically. The fight with Hard Boiled was apparently in the manga one of the most cinematic masterpieces that anyone has ever witnessed. That is what people are saying. And yeah, I thought it was a solid fight, but I didn't think it was anything really all that like groundbreaking. So the fact that in the manga is apparently way way better and like that good, then yeah, it seems like the anime is drastically letting down the manga, which is a shame.
I'm totally with you. I think it's been fun as somebody who's like jumped ahead just to kind of
Mm-hmm.
see like what happens in the future. Like I really don't know what I mean, everybody knows the story, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's assassins out for Sakamoto's bounty, but like just seeing the artist Yuto Suzuki,
Mm-hmm.
incredible artist, amazing panels, but the fluidity and creativity of the fights I feel like hasn't really transferred because you're right, the hard boiled's like a pretty important character in the beginning and like I thought it was fun, but I wasn't like, damn, this is badass. Kind of like,
Yeah.
maybe the same way we feel about Jinwoo and Solo
Yeah,
Leveling.
exactly.
And like I guess from everything I've read, that's what it should feel like. And I had brought this up on the previous podcast that 23 studios helped to make the episode. So it's like, excuse me, I don't want to like shit on the other studios because you know whatever they're getting paid and whatever hours they have to work. Like I appreciate them bringing this to life, but at the same time, like you don't want to justify like studios or if it's Netflix or whoever, you know, keeping a low budget for profit, just to bring this to reality. Because Sakamoto Days is like a huge part of Shonen Jump. I kind of feel like they should put a little more time and money into it, whoever that is. You know what I mean? Not to like
Yeah.
put blame anywhere, but
Because we also don't
it does feel
understand
like
it. You know what I mean? It's confusing of how this stuff works. Is it Netflix's fault? You know what I mean? Because it's a Netflix exclusive, so it's like it's not on them just trying to get it out there. Because like that's the only anime other than Blue Box that they're really dropping that only they have. Or is it like the studio? Or like it's kind of hard when you don't understand the process. But like yeah, whoever is kind of dropping the ball on this, you got to do it justice. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen anything that was like, this is the West fumbling,
Mm-hmm.
the transition from manga to anime, which I can believe, you know what I mean? I'm sure it can
Yeah.
happen. Netflix, I feel like, has been very successful in quite a few of their like animes and the stuff that they bring over. So I'd like to think they're pretty tapped in to what's good, but
Yeah.
I would say for somebody who does have like a decent look ahead, like very, very far ahead, it doesn't feel like, yeah, they're adapting it with the proper expression. And again, I know that comes down to budget and animation and stuff, and that's not something I can do. So I'm not trying to, accuse anybody, but like it hasn't hit, if you're a big fan of the manga, maybe the same way the manga has.
I also want to like say this too and kind of be on like a more positive note of Sakamoto Days. I agree with people when it comes to the adaptation from the manga to the anime. Yeah, obviously you see those scenes. I put them up on the screen. Like they did it dirty, and there's multiple scenes that are like that. That is obviously really bad. But because of that, I feel like it's become a fun, kind of like, oh well, yeah, let's hate on Sakamoto Days. Where it's like I don't agree with these takes. Like Otaku Anonymous, they have a podcast. Great guys. They're really into anime. Huge in the anime community, especially on YouTube. Like awesome dudes. If you watch them, you know that they back themselves in some pretty interesting takes, some hot takes that not a lot of people agree with. I've seen them say some really like bad things about Sakamoto Days, where it's just like, dude, I don't really see, and like people in the comments don't even agree with them. like talking about like, oh yeah, like so Sakamoto's whole thing, his whole gimmick is being this, fat, lovable, cuddly, retired guy. Like now he's skinny. It's like, bro, he was skinny for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? It was like, oh yeah, Sakamoto's whole thing was not speaking. It's like he technically really isn't speaking. He doesn't say a whole lot. It's like Shin being able to read his thoughts. You know what I mean? So like
Right.
I feel like it's become kind of a trend where it's like, oh yeah, let's hate on Sakamoto Days. Like let's hate on it. And I feel like it really doesn't deserve a lot of the hate it gets, because I feel like other than those scenes and the details, really that's what it is, the details being put into the scenes, that is the problem. Everything else has been great. I do love the plot. I love the characters. I think the fights have been pretty solid given like what they've worked with. Again, the manga is obviously better in that aspect, 100%. But I've been really enjoying it every single week, and as only watching the anime and not knowing what I'm missing out on, it's still something I look forward to. It's still possibly in my top three, this season. I really, really enjoy it. And you know what? Because of this whole fiasco with the manga, you can bet your ass I'm gonna be reading the manga after this. You know what I mean?
Hey, let's go,
You,
baby.
you can bet they just got a new a manga reader. So 100%, because it seems like the manga does it well. But I really enjoy it, and I really like it, and I feel like the only thing that might be missing would be, again, the details in these scenes. Because other than that, like, Sakamoto's voice lines, you know what I mean? Like a lot of these other aspects of him kind of getting skinny, well, that's in the manga, is it not? So why are you hating on those details in the anime?
Yeah, and like again, I have a little bit of foresight, if you could call it that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it does slim down in a way, but like it's as the story ramps up and like all the stuff that happens. You know what I mean? We're still in the
Yeah.
infancy of this anime, so it's like not really fair to, I think, critique it that hard.
But he also even talks about it where, like, when he moves around a lot, he just loses weight. Like, he can lose weight whenever he wants, but then he loves eating. And that's how he gets fat again instantly. So it seems like for the
And
fight scenes. Good.
he's a convenience store owner. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
runs a konbini, and if any of you have been lucky enough to go to Japan, you know that it's cheap and it's good. You know what I mean? I'd be a husky guy too if I owned a Family Mart or a Lawson.
I don't want to get, like, too off track, but, like, in the episode where he's like, oh, yeah, we can use this money to, like, get the bulletproof glass, but to upgrade our ramen selection, I was like, yo.
Based, based.
Priorities.
You're so right though. It's like really become fun, and I'm not like,
Mm,
oh, it's tense, it's badass, it's emotional. Like it's just been fun, but it's also what 5 episodes in,
yeah,
six
like six,
episodes in,
I believe, yeah.
and we're getting a second season in July. So like, hopefully, again, like I know like very far in the future, kind of some of the events. Like I don't know what we're gonna get in July, and like kind of where they place the budget, a la
Hmm.
Blue Lock. The U20 game. If you're on a limited budget, you want to kind of put it where it counts, and hopefully that's kind of what we're getting towards. But to say it's been bad or unenjoyable, I would disagree with. I
Yeah,
think it's been fun, and
100%.
you're totally right. There's great characters. Shin is great. You know what I mean? All the instances where he's killing him in his mind. He's like talking to his wife. Oh, he's reading his wife's mind, and he's like, "Yeah, don't do that." Just like knife through the throat. Like stuff like that is really funny, and I think we'll say this gets 4 seasons. It's a hit anime, and the story unravels really well. You'll look back and be like, yeah, this was just like the beginning of it, and we were a little too critical. So, kind
Hmm.
of like Solo Leveling's first 8, 9 episodes. Try not to be too harsh and like overly critical, because you were getting another 12 or whatever episodes in a couple months.
Yeah, like I still love it, and it's not like Tokyo Ghoul, where it's like, oh, the adaptation was really bad because you skipped a lot of key parts, you rushed things, so it's super confusing. You literally change aspects that were in the manga to completely kind of change the story. Like that was really really bad, and it was like, yeah, the anime is just like rough to watch it from that aspect. But like this is just again not putting enough details into the scenes that you did in the manga. You know what I mean? And not doing it justice that way. Other than that, the anime is still phenomenal. It's still great. It's still wonderfully paced. The characters are still great. The plot's still awesome. You know what I mean? We still have the same events that we do in the manga. I'm pretty sure, because I haven't seen anyone complain about that. So I still think it's an absolutely awesome anime that I'm still very much enjoying. And then, yeah, I hope that they do, put more money into it so they can do more with it, and have those, really bring those manga scenes to life that really count. But other than that, yeah, I absolutely love it. And I think a lot of the other hate on it is just completely unwarranted and unjustified. But other than that, these past two episodes have been awesome. Drunk Lou is like one of my favorite characters in the entire
Yeah.
in anime. I absolutely love Lou. She's so funny, dude. Her getting drunk and then talking about like them being family and the family rules and why she's not gonna hurt the other girl was honestly so sweet and just so awesome. That those scenes were just absolutely incredible. I absolutely love her. I love how the wife found out about it all and was kind of like, "There's a bounty on us." You know what I mean? Like wrapping up the amusement park arc.
Sakamoto shits himself immediately.
Yup, yup. I love how they're all being yelled at, like they're all at the table, and they're all like, "Oh
Even
shit."
Hard Boiled sitting there like taking it. Like I loved Hard Boiled as a character. I thought he rocked.
Absolutely. I just again, yeah, you wish you had that detail of like hard boiled, kind of like messed up a little bit, and he just looks so cool. Like him as a character, like he's just awesome. Like them sitting there and his wife though saying that like, so we have a bounty on us, huh? Like, are you gonna take care of this? Like, when are we gonna be done with this? That I actually loved. It's not like, oh my god, like this is so scary. Like she's like, yo, take care of it. You know what I mean? And he's like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I love how she pulls out the family rule book and she's like, "Bam, you will not hide anything from me." And it was like, ooh,
Got
she
him.
got you, Taro. She got you, Taro. But like, honestly, it's really setting up. And I think, if you had any other information or spoilers or whatever you want to call it, like, you can really see like some of the points that we're getting now are building up to what's coming. We've heard about the JAA. We've heard about the Order. We
We
just got
saw
introduced.
the order. Yeah.
We just got introduced to some of them. So like you can see like some of the baddies are coming. Like we're getting
Mhm.
more into like whatever you want to call it, the deeper action, the deeper parts of the story. Like it really is. I think it's 6 or 7 episodes in. I was a little behind, but like I think it's still a little early to criticize because like you can kind of tell like now that his wife is in on it and they're kind of like being truthful. Like yeah, we've been fighting off hitmen at the music part all day and
Yeah.
this and that. Like it's going to start ramping up, I think. And like that was kind of a really good point to that, the wife finding out and being like, how are you going to deal with this?
Yeah, like you better take care of this and quickly. You know what I mean? And that she wasn't even against him fighting. She was just like, yeah, just deal with this. And then, because that makes sense too, because like she's obviously going to see the damage to the convenience store. I mean, like they're constantly cleaning up glass and putting duct tape over the windows and shit. You know what I mean? So like, her character and the way the position she plays in all this is just so good. And I talk about this so many times. That's what I love
Perfect.
that like Spy Family doesn't have, for example. You know what I mean? Like those interactions between them is just gold. I love it. It really brings the whole thing together.
I forget what she like offers him at the convenience store. Like she goes to give him something or he forgot something and he turns around and just like the glasses break, the snot's coming out his nose. He's like, oh, like even that stuff is so funny and like
Yeah.
wholesome. Like, when you think into the action and, the badass fights and stuff, it's like those are the moments that kind of diffuses it and makes you enjoy the other side of it.
Yeah, exactly. And like it is gonna be really cool of what's coming up because we do have the order. And like you said, maybe too early to judge. I think like from a manga reader's point of view, like you read the manga, you're so excited about it, so hyped. I can see why you're disappointed. And you have every right to be disappointed. You know what I mean? I don't think it's too early to
Sure.
judge because we're straight up seeing the scenes that are just supposed to hit so hard and not hitting hard, right? But like I said, it's not like Tokyo Ghoul where you're changing shit. Like it's just not as detailed, not as involved. I think as an anime, it is still very, very, very good. And I see that like we have a lot of things that are gonna be brought up. We finally met the sniper dude. Meeting the Order has been absolutely phenomenal. They all look like really, really cool characters. Like there's so much to be excited about. I still think like as an anime, like being an anime, it's still very good. You know what I mean? So I still have like a lot of positive views on it. And I'm still like really, really excited about it. Which is why it's just like I feel like if you've read the manga, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, you have every right to kind of hate on it. Like, when I think about, like, Kagurabachi and, like, some of the other mangas we're reading and, like, going to be making videos on because there's a lot that are really fucking amazing that we got to talk about.
Hell yeah.
I think about, like, if they got animated and a lot of those scenes that, like, I took screenshots of, like, the panels, if they didn't deliver like that, I'd be pissed, too. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know what else to say other than if you read the manga, like, yeah, I'm sorry. But, like, as you're only watching the animes, it still hits. It's still really good, and I don't think it should get as much hate as it is.
I agree. And I think maybe part of that is just kind of like the online culture that we're in
Mm-hmm.
today with stuff like, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, wherever, YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just easy to pile on to something that people, or even a small group of people don't like. It's easy to kind of bandwagon hate, which unfortunately is a part of
Yeah.
all culture today, no matter where you're from. But even like the people who didn't know about Solo Leveling, they were like, oh, the first, half of the season of season 1 was really boring, and you got a recap episode. Who would say that? But like, I'm happy. I'm like, yo, I was right. Yeah, I'm happy I was wrong. The hype is sick.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
definitely one of our favorite shows. Like, so like, just keep rocking with it, and knowing that there's like a ton of content with it. It's not just like a short manga. I think, you know what I mean. It'll be all right.
And they can obviously just have that time where they just invest a bunch of money. Because like you said with Solo Leveling too, like the first, I mean not Solo Leveling, Blue Lock. Blue Lock, the first part of the season was just very under animated. Like they had like no attention to detail in it. But then we saw that they put all the resources into the U20 game. Where it's like, oh holy shit, we have no idea where they would just might value the second part of the season more, where they do the same thing, and that's why it's a split season. Like why is there time between like this first part? So why do we have the two
True.
cores? So I assume I'm hoping that that second core in July, I believe it is going to just have that delivery on the manga that it deserves. But going into the episode this week, what an awesome episode as well. Like that sniper dude. No, there was a scene where he was animated better in the manga too. Like it was just really clean. So seeing him though in the anime was really sick. I do like his character. I like how he's an absolute fucking idiot. That's what Drew. I mean, Lou, by the way, has a drinking problem. Like that. That's gone very bad over the past 2 episodes. She just drinks in her training, and it's like it's causing a lot of problems because you have the sniper dude who's a dumbass, right? Absolutely love him. I love that they fed him. I love how like, all right, hey man, like here, take some food. He's like, oh my god, thank you.
And then he's like, we're friends now. He immediately assumes they're friends, and Chin's like, that was quick. Damn.
Yeah, and and they were able to convince him that Sakamoto wasn't Sakamoto. Is Sakamoto like really like a popular name? Like, how does he believe that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he is an idiot, but like towards the middle and end of the episode, you like
Yeah.
find out like he's not quite as dumb as he leads on, but like he's a little gullible or naive or whatever word you want to use.
And it's tough to call him an idiot when you have Lou there drunk. Like, oh yeah, no, like that's Sakamoto. That picture you're looking for to kill that guy, that's this guy. That's Boss when he was skinny. It's like, Lou, shut the fuck up. Like, stop talking.
Shin comes in with the fakest laugh anyone's ever heard. It's just like, ha 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 ha. It's like, all right, dude. But like that scene where they all pull the guns on each other and like in the paintball tournament, and they're like, oh, the team's turning on each other. It's like, no, they're trying to kill each other now.
Yeah, I'm kind of questioning, are those real guns or, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta be careful. But like that whole, like, they kept calling it airsoft, but like that, like, paintball tournament was awesome. I love the whole, I love the whole, but it clearly wasn't airsoft, it was paintballs, but.
No, it was paintballs, yeah, you're right.
But they kept calling it airsoft, I'm like, alright, beyond the point. I think the tournament was awesome. I think when he turned on them, that was really, really cool, though, because we got to actually see his prowess. And, you know what I mean? We actually get to see him use the ricochets, and I love how, like, he's like, they're like, yo, he didn't even plant his feet. Like, he just kind of kicked back and had a perfectly accurate shot. Like that guy's a definition of precision. You know what I mean? It's not like kind of close, it's spot on. So having that little like arc was like so fun. I think it was so enjoyable. And we were talking about how he's like in the cover art, right? So like he's got to be a part of their main crew. Like I think that's going to be awesome moving forward.
Yeah, I've seen him in the later chapters. Like he's a great character. Hisuke, I think is his name. And I forget the little bird's name, but like kind of cute, kind of funny, kind of dumb, but like really badass and like fits the gang very well. He was really cool and like I think adds a different element. Like they all seem to have like an ability. One's a sniper, one's like a martial artist, you know,
a mind reader.
Yeah, the mind reader. You know what I mean? Like these different abilities
assassin.
are all. Yeah, and like Sakamoto's kind of outside of that in a way, but like I didn't want to call it the gang because that would be like antithetical to what Sakamoto is trying to build, but the family that they're like creating,
perfect,
very like diverse in like their abilities to fight, which I think makes like a well-rounded. This is such a bad way to say it, but a well-rounded order. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if he's prepping for that. Yeah, that was pretty fucking bad.
You could have just said well-rounded family or well-rounded group of friends. You know what I mean?
Well-rounded group. There we go. It's not even Monday. I can't even blame it on that. Yeah, but like I don't know if he's prepping for like the bigger, you know, assassins to come that aren't like, you know, the pizza guy or, you know, the people at the amusement park outside of Hard Boiled, like because he was in the order, so Sakamoto knows like the ins and outs and the people that were important. And even Nagumo.
There's people still missing too. Because we didn't get introduced to, I think,
Right.
three of them in the order. Three of them were missing.
Yeah, they didn't show up, which
Hmm.
yeah, that's a very good point. So like, you have this like villain group or whatever, they're coming after him. We still have some unnamed, unshown characters, but Sakamoto's also getting the family together to like, kind of stick up for him and defend him because Sakamoto definitely can't do it alone.
And like you said, it's very well rounded. Because the bird too is also a phenomenal scout. You know what I mean? The bird was
Right?
calling out locations the entire time. I thought at the end, like, "Hey man, here's a cut," and it was like what, 50 yen? Because he's like, "You destroyed the entire town." Like, I feel like not only Sakamoto's building this group, and like, I don't think he's like, I think he's building it, but I think at the same time he's not. He's kind of like collecting outcasts, misfits, because the sniper guy wasn't like he didn't fit in. Like, no one wanted him. They're like, "Hey dude, if you only excel at one thing, we don't have a use for that. You, like, as an assassin, you need to excel at multiple things." Which Sakamoto, you talk about that multiple podcast episodes. His thing's adaptability, how he can just adapt to anything, which is why he was so great and like so insanely strong and talented. But like, this guy's the polar opposite. He only excels at one thing. Even Sakamoto says, like, "Dude, like, that's impressive." Like, no, you're broken, you're weak. He's like, "You're not weak. You're the farthest thing from it." So the fact that they kind of took him in and we kind of had that backstory, I thought was like very cool. And then I think, it just happens to have that well-rounded group that's going to be useful to take on the order. But I think at the same time, the intention isn't. It is just to kind of bring people in and give them some value, like at least make them feel valued. You know what I mean? To like kind of be like, "Hey, like, don't let the outside world, don't like everything kind of crush you. Like, I got you." You know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, that's a good point. I thought it was really well done this episode. You kind of
Mm-hmm.
introduced Hisuke as this, yeah, brain dead, one trick pony kind of guy, and like by the end of it, showed his skills, like he showed his value, and they're like, damn, this guy's no joke. Like,
Yeah.
um, the bird is Hisuke. Very, yeah, very original.
There we
Okay,
go.
but like, I think he fits the group well, and like, it'll be really interesting to see if they like kind of bring more people in or like what we do moving forward because I don't really know where it goes, but hopefully we do get some more of like the villains and like I don't totally trust Nagamo. I know that they kind of work together, but his whole like never being honest in his personality
Yeah.
like makes him really hard to trust and Shin says that, but like even as a viewer it's like is Nagamo a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he just out for himself?
I think he's a bad guy. I mean, like, he does lie a lot. He tricks them a lot, and I do love like Shin and Lu and how they have that like sibling like bond, and how they just end up always beating the hell out of this guy every time he lies. Everything he
Yeah.
says is a lie, and like, "God damn it, man, again!" And this just start wailing on him. But like, he lets them because we know that he's strong as shit. You know what I mean? He's in the order for a
Right.
reason. So when he turns and they actually fight him for real, I think that one is going to be insane. But yeah, Nagamo's, I think, always going to be that mystery for like a while, where it's like, do we trust him? Do we not trust him? And I feel like it's going to come in huge with a lot of key moments. And I do think there's going to be other people to the group, but not maybe official where we see them throughout the entire series. Because they do some like a group of people that like just bring people in. You know what I mean? That like kind of a care for people. Because like it's the same thing where we go back to the amusement park with the poison guy, where it's like, "Hey man, I want to take your knives because for obvious reasons, but like, yeah, you can go. Like, we're not gonna kill you." You know what I mean? It's like they're good people. And I feel like they always have that, like, we're just not assassins, we just stick together. You know what I mean? We're convenience store workers at the end of the day. But we have to kick
Yeah,
some
yeah.
ass because there's a bounty on us. We have to fuck some people up, we gotta fuck some people up. The missus needs us to, you know what I mean? It is what
Yeah.
it is. But at the end of the day, I feel like, they're just they're just together. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's gonna be really cool to kind of see them, fight the Order and fight a bunch of other badass assassins. But like that other side where they are just like friends and like family, and they're just convenience store workers. I feel like is also just a very nice touch to the anime.
Very enjoyable. I'm excited for what comes next, but yeah, it's always fun to watch and like not too serious yet, but
Hmm.
yeah, it'll be fun to see their interactions and kind of like what comes down the road because I have no idea, but I would expect it to kind of keep ramping up because, like we said a bunch of times already, we have that second core in July. Like,
Yeah.
I'd expect them to kind of set us up for whatever that arc is that we're going to get.
And I'm dead serious. Like, seeing those manga panels, absolutely insane. Like, after that second core in July, I am picking up the Sakamoto Days manga. I have to. I feel like the anime is so good, and I love the story, I love the characters, love everything about it. And then you add in the badassness of the manga, like the details and everything like that. Like, I'm gonna first of all go back and watch or read the hard boiled fight. But then yeah, after the second core, I'm just gonna pick up from wherever that leaves off because it just looks so good. Like it does just seem amazing, and I'm loving it right now. You know what I mean? So I cannot wait for that. That's gonna be sick.
Dude, 100%. We'll have to because I haven't read it. I've read like a chunk of an arc just to kind of see like does it heat up? Is it really
Yeah,
good? And it is. But like I have no context. It's like who the fuck are all these people? So
yeah.
like yeah, once we're done season 2 or core 2, we'll have to lock in and read it.
Yeah, guys, you probably already saw we dropped one manga video, and if you read manga, that's great because we're gonna be doing a lot more of those videos. We're just talking about how I'm kind of binging Bleach, so we can do a video on that, talk about the Thousand Year Blood War, and then I really want to get through that because first of all, Thousand Year Blood War looks absolutely cinematic. It looks
Ooh.
absolutely incredible, and I am loving Bleach. But once that's done, I can start reading a lot more manga, catch up to Blake, and we can do a lot of these videos. Because I mean, it's another world. I don't know how to explain manga, but like I always just be like, oh, dude, it's just easier to watch. Like, why not just watch it? You know what I mean? Why not just wait for the anime? And it's like, dude, like, there's something about manga that just makes it unique. Not taking away from anime, I do love anime, and that's the thing that there's a lot of mangas that aren't animated that are phenomenal, and I cannot wait for them to be animated. I cannot wait for more people to see it and to share it and just be like, dude, this is incredible. So we'll see how that goes. It might turn into a one of the salty manga haters that are just like, oh my god, it's just not as good. It's just not as good. Get it out. You know what I mean? That could be me, but I don't know. But like, yeah, it's been absolutely insane. Speaking of absolutely insane, Blue Box finally, first of all, Taiki getting the dub. We gotta talk about that.
That
He
was
did it.
huge because
Yeah,
like he's the first character in the show to like pull through. I mean, we saw Haryu
yeah,
like when he got to
mm-hmm.
regionals, but you know, he still couldn't beat his rival.
Yep,
Um Yusa beats Taiki the first time. Hina comes in third place. Chinatsu bricks the game-winning shot. Like basically just L's all around. So it's kind of like, you know, you feel sorry for their characters, but this was finally like, so rewarding to see Taiki.
practice
He,
game.
yeah, although yeah, it's just an exhibition. Like even
Yeah,
Yusa picked up on it. Like
mm-hmm.
you know, he comes off as like this sleepy, nonchalant character, but like he was picking up on his skills and saw as he was ramping up through the later parts of the match that like Taiki's the real deal, which was really satisfying as somebody who's like rooting for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're rooting for the main cast. It's like,
mm-hmm.
yes, finally got that dub.
Yeah.
Exhibition or not.
He even said he's like dude, he's like getting faster. Like how is this game going on and you're getting faster? It's insane. And what's really cool is that it's set up really nice. Where Yusuf was like, oh, he's like, oh, I'm gonna sleep. He's like, dude, why are you sleeping? He's like, well, I want to save all my energy for when I go against that guy, and it was Haru. So he was like planning for him the entire time. But then Taiki
Looking
was like,
past Taiki.
yeah, Taiki was like, no, 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 no. You're gonna have to try, brother. You're gonna have to give it everything. And Yusa did, and still couldn't pull through, which is absolutely amazing. But was even insane was that Yusa gassed out, then went against Haru and beat Haru. Haru lost. I mean, is that foreshadowing something? Because I think I brought it up, but I don't think I did. We talked about it about when they went to the one school to practice to the college. It was to the college, and Haru's rival was
Yeah.
there. He even said he's like yeah, you know, it's gonna be Yusa versus Haru next year. They're gonna be going to nationals, but you know, I love a good underdog. You know, unless you do something, it's gonna be those two. And I think I brought up like, could it be like Haru and Taiki, or is it gonna be Taiki and Yusa that go to nationals, and Haru's left in the dust? And I think this might be foreshadowing that next year Haru might not make it to nationals. It seems like those two youngsters, man, are pushing so goddamn hard. I think that they might be surpassing them.
We've gotten like tidbits of that from like the other students or like the
Mm-hmm.
other teachers and stuff. Like, oh man, Taiki, you've come a long way. Like,
Yeah.
wow. But nothing like concrete like that. But I really think this was our first piece of evidence that like, yes, we were right. Like Taiki is going to be that good. And I think Karyu sees it too. And even if he were to lose or come up short against Taiki, or Taiki makes it in place of him to nationals, I think it's still like satisfying and feels good that, you know, my senpai or my student, you know what I mean? Like he taught him in the beginning. Like I think he would still be satisfied for Taiki because he's kind of rooting for him, even though he's a little hard on him.
I'm a little worried that he's gonna stop mentoring Taiki because he's gonna be like, I've been focusing too much on helping you, and now you're beating a guy I can't beat. He's like,
That's a
this,
good point.
we got to remember that he has that deal with his girlfriend, Karen. I remember it because they said it at the festival. I'm like, Karen's her name? Really? Like,
Yeah, no
Karen?
wonder I couldn't remember
I'm like,
that.
all right. It's like, yeah, but you wouldn't believe it's Karen. Like, who? Okay, but it is what it is. So he has a deal with Karen where it's like, yo, like if he doesn't win, then well, they're gonna break up. You know what I mean? Because they have their own lives where they're really pushing for excellence. They're really pushing past like the stat like what's normal. They want to go for achieve higher things. And if they hold each other back, well then they can't be together. So if Haru's getting worse and he's not able to like go to nationals, start winning and start producing, well then they're like, oh well, we're gonna have to like they like joke about it, but I think and there's an aspect that's serious because they want the best for each other and they don't want to be the reason why the other one's not excelling, which I kind of hate because you're asking a lot. You know what I mean? Like, Haru's got to go to nationals to win. Like, that's not an easy task. But
I, I I think it's like a huge point of the story. It feels like
yeah,
because like you have Karen and Haru, who like are really good at their careers. They're kind of
hmm
famous, or whatever you want to call it, micro celebrities in their
yeah,
own worlds. But like they're still working on their relationship and trying to find that happy medium. Whereas Shinatsu and Taiki are so committed to their game and badminton and basketball that they struggle to find that like I don't know if you want to call it like intimacy or like that emotional availability to be like, yeah, we could do this, but we could also like spend time together. And so I think like it's a good point of growth for at least the MCs, you know what I mean? To look at
yeah.
them and be like, not to say that they're wrong, because that would be kind of crazy, you know what I mean? They're very
hmm
successful, but like, look at what they're doing as a model for what we could do and like, get closer as they learn to figure out their feelings and finally, talk about it.
But I wonder if that whole thing with Haru and his girlfriend and stuff is going to be a huge point, especially when we get to the next year, the next part of nationals. Well, for it again, because I think they still have to go to Nat. Well, no, Haru lost. I don't think they ever really talked about Haru at nationals. He lost to the other guy, didn't he? And then that guy won.
Yes.
So I feel like yeah. No, it did happen. I forgot. It's been a minute. Yeah. So he ended up losing. So I feel like next year, if he doesn't make it, if that's going to be a huge point where like he gets really upset, really kind of salty, because we have already seen like these people are emotional, like rightfully so. They work so fucking hard to get to certain points, certain matches, and then you just lose, and it's like, was it all for nothing? You know what I mean? So you can see like Haru was pissed after that expedition. So it's like I wonder what's gonna happen. I wonder what's gonna happen with that whole point with those three. Which two are going to nationals, and what's that fallout gonna look like? You know what I mean? So I think that's gonna be absolutely insane. I cannot wait for that. It's gonna be incredible.
I'm really excited for the sports aspect because it's
hmm
been like entertaining and
Yeah.
it definitely didn't go the way we thought it would. Like everybody's kind of like a step or two below what we thought they
hmm
might be or where they want to be as characters. And that's, I think, made for good writing and kind of exciting. But now that the romance is kind of heating up, well, it
Oh,
has been
it's
heating
perfect.
up, but
Yeah.
like now that we're really getting into it, it's like, man, this is what Blue Box is all about. And like some of the scenes with Shinatsu and then, Taiki at the cultural festival at the cultural festival, he sees Hina in like the dress for the play, and he's
Yeah.
all like, "Oh wow!" And then he's all embarrassed, and he's like, "Yeah, it looks nice, I guess," which is like the ultimate admission of, "Yeah, you look good."
Yeah.
So like even scenes like that, it's like really really justified. Blue box Blue Box being as big as it is and as popular as it is.
Well, before we go on to the romance side and the festival and stuff like that, so much to dive in on that side. It's so funny at the end where they're like, "Yo, let's go again." You know what I mean? And I feel like Taiki and Yusa, that's what makes them so good as well. Is not only is they're so driven, not only are they observing, the people above them and trying their hardest to get to that point, but they're just animals. They just want to keep going and going and going. They're always down to compete. So I thought that was so funny where he's like, "Yo, yeah, let's go again." Like, no, you two save it for nationals. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Save it for that tournament. So I thought that was really funny. But yeah, getting into well, also too, Shinazu really kind of seems to constantly bring up that she kind of has known Taiki since before high school. I wonder if we're really going to get into that. I wonder if we're really going to, if that's going to be the key piece, the missing spot, where it's going to unlock, Chinatsu confessing to Taiki. Because it's been brought up 2 or 3 times now. But she keeps bringing up, too, how Taiki brought up how after she lost Nationals the first time around before high school, how he saw her kind of crying and like playing and how it inspired him. She's like, well, that, you inspired me. That's what was brought up that episode. She's like, I was there because I saw how hard you were working. So it's insane how like we're starting to get Chinatsu's side of everything because it's been from Taiki's. So Chinatsu's talking about how much he's been inspiring her and how much he's been pushing her and all this stuff. And now it's starting to come out too because her friend heard his voice and now that kind of came out and now she knows about that, so it's really ramping up to I feel like Chinatsu confessing. I think she might have at that concert because she said something to him and he didn't hear. He's like, oh yeah, like just tell me. She's like, nah, you can't pull that back on me.
She hit him with the finger wag, the Matumbo, like no, no, no.
Yeah, he tried to use her move against the he tried to use her move against her, and she's like, yeah, nah, that's not happening. I'm like, good try, Taiki, but
every single person who has had feelings for somebody else has been in this situation where you like don't hear something or you mishear. It's like, oh, what'd you say? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
And then they're walking down the hall. He's like, so what did you say? And she's like, nothing. Damn. He's like,
I know it's important. Yeah. It's like, I know it's important. I gotta know.
But yeah, that feels like with the situation with her basketball friend and I've already touched on this, but the movie scene with the mom where she's like, yeah, you know, she's not honest with her feelings. She sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Chinatsu's really started to think about it and like, you know, not to be like the super normal anime trope of like childhood friends getting together, but I think she's starting to process that and realize like, yeah, I have known him for a while and like, you know, distance or not, like we've always been cool and like supported and inspired each other. And I think that's kind of pushing her to like do some of these things, like go to the concert or let's go to the beach and hang out. And, you know what I mean? She's comfortable getting a hotel room with him or whatever, which,
yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're in high school, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, true. Like it really has been putting a lot more of the focus because I mean we've been character growth with Taiki and the whole romance side of everything, right? And it feels like with this win, it kind of proves that like, oh, Taiki's at that spot now, right? It's finally all paying off. It's finally all getting to that point where it's like, all right, Taiki's solid, right? Now we're shifting the focus to Chinatsu. So I feel like that is just building up, and then we're gonna have them dating or something like that. And that's gonna be insane. We're already starting to see like little like hints from that from these episodes, with a lot of these moments, especially like at the concert. So I think that that's gonna be absolutely insane. But whenever they take steps, there's always those bad situations with Hina that always kind of come up that have Chinatsu being like, do I say anything? But she came back and she just wanted to talk to him like from the tournament. And that's when she found out that Hina confessed, and she was like, "Oh, you know what I mean." And then at the hotel, that's when Taiki, made everything straight. He said everything straight, and now he's like, "Yo, yeah, I'm not in the play." Like, no, you know what I mean? It's like the festival all over again with the fireworks, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not going. I'm going with a group. I'm not going with anyone in particular." And then she's like, "Oh, you're here with Hina? Like, crazy. He lied." Now it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not in the play. No, he's the prince. He's gonna be kissing Hina." Cool. And now it's going to bring up all those moments where he's like, oh, I wasn't in the play. Oh, no, we didn't kiss. Remember that after the win? Where he's like, oh, yeah, you and Hina. He's like, oh, we didn't kiss. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, bro, now we're going to get to that scene where, like, it's going to be, like, a hard moment for Chinatsu, but it's, like, the moment right before it gets bad for Hina, because we know that Hina's probably not going to win. So I feel like we're just at, like, a really bad spot in this next episode where people are going to be getting hurt, and it's like, oh, it's kind of like the shitty moment before the great moment. You know what I mean? I feel like we're about to have.
Yeah, and like she even set herself up. She's like, I know he likes Chinatsu. I'm going to do whatever I can because I wouldn't feel right if I didn't try, which I think is a huge point.
Yeah.
Like she knows she's at a disadvantage and he has feelings for Chinatsu, but she's going to go after it anyway. So you're right. There'll be heartbreak and pain, but like this moment is coming to a head, especially if we're coming towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
We're not quite there, but like there's going to be a moment where it's like somebody's going to have to admit feelings or like, I don't feel that way about Hina. However that's translated, somebody's going to have to like be the bigger man, so to speak, and say like, yes, you know what I mean? I do have feelings for you.
Chinatsu's about to watch Taiki kiss Hina. That's going to be a fucking bombshell. That's going to be insane. That's going to be like, oh shit, what's going to happen? Like I said, I feel like we're about to get into like the next episode or two, like absolute disaster. Like just it's gonna be bad every aspect, right? Of like the miscommunications, the he was supposed to be in the play. Now he's kissing the girl that I'm worried about. You know what I mean? And then it's gonna have like the right before the good moment where he probably gets together with Chinatsu. But like it's gonna be like like not bad from like, oh, this episode sucks, but like bad where it's like, oh, it's like watching a train crash. It's gonna be like, oh, like I'm
Dude,
really excited
I
though.
swear we used that analogy like sometime in season one when things were like really building up and you could
Yeah,
see Hina starting to have affection. It's like, yeah, this train is definitely coming off the tracks at some point.
yeah.
It feels like, yeah, we're like one or two stops away from it.
But that's what makes it so insane. Like I cannot wait. It's gonna be crazy. Like the next like several episodes, like as we come to a close on this second core, is going to be phenomenal. Like really fucking good.
Very excited, and I'd like to make a random statement. Cultural festivals in anime,
Hmm.
I gotta say, better than the beach episodes. Some
Oh,
shit
for
always
sure.
goes down at the cultural festival.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the beach episodes are just like fan service, but like the cultural episodes, that's the drama. That's where
That's the
shit goes
drama.
down. That's where
Yeah.
shit gets interesting. That's where it's at. You know what I mean? That's awesome. It's crazy. There's this someone online who like is from America who now lives and works in Japan, so she talks all about it. And it's so funny how this episode drops and she's talking about how cultural festivals at like schools, because she's a teacher there, she teaches English, is like just as awesome as in real life as they are in the anime. How she was a part of like a lot of the track races and all this other stuff. I'm like, bro, this looks so sick. The fact that this shit's real is kind of bullshit. It looks awesome.
I always think like, dude, I hated school. I was always a clown. I was always like breaking rules and stuff,
Yeah.
and I got good enough grades that like I could get away with it. But if there was any type of participation, it was like, yeah, no way. You won't catch me at a school function.
Hmm.
Every time I watch one of these, it's like, kind of wish maybe, my school had done that. Like, oh, that would have been fun. Like,
Dude,
I don't know. It is really cool that that stuff is legit.
I mean, okay, the thing that I had in school for like 3 years, I think, and that's it. It was the Scholastic Book Fair. That is the closest thing America's got to the cultural festivals, and like the Scholastic Book Fair was the shit. It was awesome, but it was
Bro.
books. Imagine if we had like a legit festival where you're able to do like actual like sports stuff, but like other like art stuff. You know what I mean? Classes are putting on like a performance and stuff like that. It's insane. But dude, Taiki and the other guy too were also so funny. The dude he competed with, who was after Chanatsu's number, them at the maid
Oh,
cafe,
yeah.
so funny. I love Karen. Karen was just like, dude, she was like, get the popcorn. Like these two guys are are gonna die.
Dude, that was so funny. And like, all the stuff he says is like, oh man, she smells good. I'm just good if she's happy. It's like, oh, bro, come
Yeah,
on.
talk about someone who's clearly not gonna win. Oh, poor
Yeah,
guy.
you've already set yourself up. And oh, hold up, you're not the MC.
Exactly, dude. Haru's seeing them too, like because they're fighting like they're like childhood best friends, like they're brothers. He's like, this is like the weirdest duo ever. Like, what the fuck's going on here?
I
Because
know.
he's like, bro,
Very
bro,
good.
just show me where Chanatsu's homeroom is, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And he's like, come on, bro, please. And it's like,
Like, dude, so relatable. Like, you've all had a moment where your like buddies trying to like get you to help hook
yeah.
you up with a girl or whatever. Like, even instances like that are super funny. I thought it was
Mhm.
hilarious that Haru saw that because everyone's like, yo, these guys are an eclectic duo to say the
And it's like
least.
the reactions were the best because Haru's like, these two guys are like fucking idiots. Like, what are but the two pains in my sides? Because they're his two juniors, one from middle school, one now
Yeah.
from high school. And then Karen's just like, oh, I love this. Like, Karen's just like, the tea is served. Like, the drama that's about to go
Yes.
down. She's like, oh, you want to know where her homeroom is? Let me bring you to the maid cafe. Let me come take a walk. And like, just having the time of her life, bro. I love it.
So good. And like again, I know I say this about a lot of stuff like Sakamoto Days and all
Hmm.
that, but like the side characters have really bolstered kind of like the interactions and it's not just a small
Yeah,
group, of Hina, Taiki, and Chinatsu. Like
absolutely.
Kyo's been an MVP. Everybody needs a wingman like him. Haru's been a great senpai to Taiki. Even like the basketball girls, you know what I mean? They're starting to like kind of push Chinatsu into like being upfront about her feelings or like some of the basketball situations where she puts too much pressure on herself. I think Blue Box is so well rounded. Obviously it's fun, we like sports, you know what I mean, like I had to get that in, subtle dig. um but like all the stuff that we like is compiled into a great
Yeah.
story. It's extremely well written and fun to watch, so I'm super hype. I can't wait to see these next two. insane episodes.
Yeah, like we're making the manga video on Goku Rakugai, and I talked about it with you before. You know, we did this. We recorded this, and Blue Box is the same way. Like I'm a real sucker when you have an anime that just has phenomenal side characters. When you don't have all the focus on the MC, and it's like it's more like you're just dropped into this world, this universe that they live in. It is just awesome. I feel like you're way more immersed and into the story, and Blue Box just does an awesome job. So I look forward to all the moments with everybody. Again, that one guy who Taiki faced off of, you know, felt like a growth, you know, period like for like an arc or something, you know, trying to
Yeah.
defend Chinatsu's number, you know, is brought back, and you have these really funny moments with, and it's just like, yo, dude, I miss that guy. Like, I'm glad he's back. You know what I mean? It just like it just it's so nice. I don't know what it is, but like, I'm a real sucker for those animes that have that where it's just like they're not focus isn't just on the MC, but like you have really good side characters and they're involved or incorporated really well.
I think if you look at the most popular animes, it's always easy to go back to things like Naruto or Bleach or
Mm-hmm.
One Piece or whatever. You know, Dragon Ball, if you're into Dragon Ball. Like the side characters play a huge role. You know what I mean? Everybody loves Kakashi or Sasuke or, you know what I mean? Sanji and Zoro. Like there's so many good support characters that make an anime or a manga successful. I think Blue Box does it absolutely perfect.
And we see it all over the place. Dandadan, Kaiju 8, Chainsaw Man, JJK, you know what I mean? Where it's like when you're involved in these worlds, it's just so good. You know what I mean? So the fact that Blue Box is killing it in that aspect, I'm loving it, and it's a phenomenal anime. I can't wait for the close of the season because I feel like it's just like it's going straight up. You know what I mean? It's gonna be an absolute disaster. It's gonna be amazing. It's
Yeah.
gonna be everything all at once. So it's like Sakamoto Days, but really solo leveling and Blue Box gonna be bodying towards the end here. I can't wait. I these each week is just phenomenal. And there's so much we're not talking about, guys. Too like we were talking about before this. Honey Lemon Soda, Zenshu, like a lot of these other animes have just been nothing but phenomenal. You know, this season has been loaded with animes that are just delivering each and every week, and like some of them waiting to like, oh, like when's there gonna be like a drop off? When's it's gonna be kind of a little bit slow? But like, it's never that case. Each and every week, I don't have a favorite. I'm like, I cannot wait for anything that drops.
And even to touch on those two, like Honey Lemon Soda and Zenshu, as the anime's gone on longer, I want to say they're both at episode six,
Yeah,
6 or 7, or somewhere in there. They've gotten better. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you're just getting into the story at first, and then Honey Lemon Soda episodes 5 and 6, I was like, oh my god, like they've spent way more time animating and with the characters, and even the dialogue is really good. Like, man, props to these guys. It just goes to show you, like, you know, we were talking about studios and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's not all about the big anime and stuff like that, but to a degree, you know what I mean? You always want to stay focused on what's popular, but also there's so many gems out there. Like you just can't watch them all. You know what I mean? But it's always fun when you get those, especially the premieres. It's like, damn, this is so good, and it only gets better.
Yeah, they've been all killing it. Each day that anime is dropping this season has just been an amazing day. Like you can't be upset. It's just been absolutely phenomenal. I'm absolutely loving the season. I hope you guys are too. I mean, whew, what an insane 2 weeks. What an
I know,
absolute insane.
quite literally in
Yeah.
anime and in life, but you know, that's how it
Yes.
goes.
Is there anything else you wanna say before we take a leave here?
Look forward to the Goku Rakugai video. Very short,
So
incredible
good.
art, really good to dive into manga if you're not like a manga guy or you're a little hesitant.
Yeah.
We'll be doing that video soon, so look forward to it. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and go birds.
Yeah, I was thinking about bringing that up in the beginning of this video. If you're someone who's like on the fence about like, should I read anime? Not really into it. This is actually like really short. It's only like 24 chapters, which I literally read in an entire night, like pretty easily. Like within a couple of hours, you can get it done. It is such a good manga. Like it is like one of my favorites. When we were talking about it, it was like it feels like Chainsaw Man, like the best of Chainsaw Man mixed with the best of Demon Slayer. It has just been phenomenal. If I have to give anything in this world a 10 out of 10, it will be that. Like it hasn't been another anime or manga that has hit so perfectly. And it's the beginning. Let's get that straight. 20 chapters is what, like 3 4 episodes, three
Yeah,
to six
very
episodes.
infant yet.
Yeah, it's like very much in the beginning, so it has plenty of room to mess up. But so far, it has been nothing but perfect. There's not a single thing I could even remotely complain about or even tweak. It is just phenomenal. So if you do want to get into something, that is the perfect manga to get into. But anyways, look forward to that video. We have plenty other manga videos and anime videos dropping. We hope you guys are having a phenomenal week. Hopefully you guys have a phenomenal week. And that's it. Anyways, later guys. Peace.